guys, welcome back to Magic 1v1. Today we're going to be having another Commander Showdown between two new Commander decks on this channel. We also have a new guest today with some new decks that you'll be seeing shortly. So without further ado, here are our Commanders. My Commander for 3 mana, a red, white, and a black, is Ghen Arcanum Weaver. You can pay red, white, black, tap him, sacrifice an enchantment, and return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This deck is about sacrificing small enchantments and then returning huge ones to hopefully overwhelm my opponent with good curses and hopefully win the game from that.
For 4 mana, 2 of any, a blue and a red, my commander is Jhoira, Weatherlight Captain. She's a 3/3 human artificer that says whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. My deck is all about getting value off of small, cheap artifacts and enchantments that I play, and draw into the bigger spells that can hopefully trample my opponents in the later game.
Okay, well, we'll roll to go first and then get started. 5 and a 1. Okay, it looks like I will be on the play. Let's go ahead. I will not draw a card. Play a Plains. Tap the Plains to cast Authority of the Councils. 1 white enchantment that states, creature your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped, and when they do, I gain a life. I will pass the turn.
Okay, I'll draw. I will play an island and tap my island for Soaring.
Wow.
It's a 1 mana artifact that you can tap to add 2 colorless mana. And I will tap my Soaring to cast Gingerbread. It enters the battlefield tapped and you gain 1 life.
Yep.
And then I will pass turn.
I will untap, and I will draw. I will play a swamp, and with no turn to play, I will pass the turn.
Okay. I will untap, draw, will cast a mountain, and I will tap 4 for my commander. And
Enters
then
tapped, and I will gain life.
I will swing for 1. And then I will pass turn.
I will draw, play a mountain, then I will tap 3 mana to cast Ghen Arcanum Weaver, and then I will pass the turn.
Okay. I will untap, and I will draw. We'll cast an island, and I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4 for Thrawn Dynamo. I will draw a card, and then I will tap 3 for Scythe of the Wretched, which is for 2 mana, it's equipment that gives the equipped creature +2/+2, and says whenever a creature dealt damage by a equipped creature this turn is put into a graveyard, return that card to play under your control. Attach Scythe of the Wretched to that creature, and the equip cost is 4. So I will draw a card for Jhoira, and then I will swing with Jhoira and Gingerbread.
I will block Gingerbread, and now I'm at 3 commander damage.
And then I will pass it.
I will untap, and I will draw. I will play a command tower, tap 3 mana to cast Treacherous Blessing. When Treacherous Blessing enters the battlefield, I will draw 3 cards, 1, 2, and 3. And it states, whenever I cast a spell, I will lose life. And whenever Treacherous Blessing becomes a target of a spell or ability, I will have to sacrifice it. I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. And I will draw. And then I will play a mountain. And I will tap Soaring, leaving 1 floating, an island and a mountain to cast Dalakos, Crafter of Wonders. For 1 of any island and a red mana, it's a Merfolk Artificer, a 2/4 that you can tap it, and you get to add 2 colorless mana but you can only spend that mana to cast artifacts or activate artifacts abilities. And it says equipped creatures you control have flying and haste.
And you get a draw card because of Jhoira.
Yep. And so I will tap.
He will enter tapped, actually. I will gain a life.
Thrawn Dynamo and an island to equip Scythe of the Wretched to Jhoira. So now she's a 5/5 with flying and haste. And then I will swing with Jhoira and Gingerboot.
I will block Gingerboot.
Okay.
Oh, Gingerboot should actually be dead because of last turn.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I will not block anything and take 5 damage.
Okay.
And now I am at 8 commander damage. I will tap 2 mana to cast Talisman of Conviction. Then I will tap 3 mana. Oh, I lose a life because of Treacherous Blessing. And I will tap 3 mana to cast Idyllic Tutor. Search my library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into my hand, and then shuffle my library. I will find and reveal from my Idyllic Tutor Sigil of the Empty Throne, and that I will put that into my hand. And I will lose another life because of Treacherous Blessing. Then I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap and draw. Then I will play a mountain, and I will tap Dalkos, Crafter of Wonders for 2, and Soul Ring for another 2 to cast Thrawn Temporal Gateway. For 4 of any color, it's a legendary artifact that says you can tap 4 and tap it and put a historic permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. I will draw a card from Jhoira, and then...
Because you played a historic spell.
Yes. And then I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for Dream Shaper Shaman. It's a enchantment creature for 6 mana, 5 of any, 1 red, 5/4, that says at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 3 mana, 2 of any, 1 red, and sacrifice a non-land permanent. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It enters the battlefield tapped and you gain 1 life due to authority of the consuls. And then I will swing with Jhoira for 5 in the air.
I will take 5 damage, going up to 13 commander damage, and down to 28.
And then I cannot activate its ability on the end step, so I will pass it.
I will untap, draw. I will play a Plains, and I will tap 4 mana to play Fires of Invention. I will lose a life because of Treacherous Blessing. Fires of Invention says I can cast spells only during your turn. I can cast spells with no more than 2 spells each turn, and I can cast spells with converted mana cost less or equal to the number of lands I control without paying their mana cost. This is great, so I can play 2 spells each turn and not have to tap my lands.
That would be your first spell this turn.
Yes, this will be my first spell, and my second spell will be a Elspeth Conquers Death. So it's a saga that enters for 5, and the first ability when it enters will trigger and says, exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. So I will exile Jhoira.
Fair enough.
She'll go to command
Goes
zone,
to my command zone.
and she'll cost 2 more mana to activate next turn.
To
cast, yeah. And then Scythe of the Wretched will just be unattached. Then I will lose a life because of Treacherous Blessing. Then I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw. I will play an island. And I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to recast my commander from the command zone.
Nice.
It does enter the battlefield tapped.
And I will gain life.
And then I will tap Dalakos and Soul Ring to equip Scythe of the Wretched to Dream Shaper Shaman. So now it is a 7/6 with flying and haste. Then I will tap 2 for Sprite Dragon. It also enters the battlefield tapped and you gain a life. And then I will go to attacks and swing with Dream Shaper Shaman. That's 7 damage in the air.
I will take 7.
And then I cannot activate Dream Shaper Shaman's ability on the end step, so I'll rest.
I will untap all my mana and draw. I will play an Opal Palace. And I think I'm going to have a pretty good turn. So, Elspeth Conqueror's Dance will take up to 2, stating that non-creature spells my opponent's cast will cost 2 more to cast until my next turn. Then I will, for my first spell, because of Fire's Invention, I will cast Sunbird's Invocation, because I do have 6 lands now. So it says, whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with value X or less from among cards revealed this way without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. That is my first spell, and my second spell will be Gravebreaker Lamia. And I will lose 2 life because of Sunbird's Invocation and Gravebreaker. So I will lose 2 life because of Treacherous Blessing. And when Gravebreaker Lamia enters the battlefield, I will search my library for a card, put it into my graveyard, and shuffle my library. I will reveal a Overwhelming Splendor and put it into my graveyard. I'm sorry, I forgot a trigger because when I cast Gravebreaker Lamia, Sunbird's Invocation will trigger and I will reveal the top 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I will get to play something with converted mana cost 5 or less onto the battlefield. So I will cast Sphere of Safety for free because of Sunbird's Invocation. And then these rest will go onto the bottom in a random order. Sphere of Safety says it's an enchantment for 5, which I got for free. That says, creatures can attack you or a planeswalker you control, unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For every creature, no, 7, because Gravebreaker Lamia is an enchantment creature. So it'll cost 7 to attack me with 1 creature. Those are my 2 spells because of Fire's Inventions, which is Sunbird's Invocation and Gravebreaker Lamia. But activating my commander is not a spell, so I will tap a white, a black, and a red, tap Ghen, using his ability, sacrifice enchantment, which will be Treacherous Blessing, which I actually should have lost 1 life of because of casting Sphere of Safety. But I will finally get rid of Treacherous Blessing and return Overwhelming Splendor to the battlefield, enchanting my opponent. Overwhelming Splendor says, enchant player when it enters, and creatures enchanted players control lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. Enchanted creature can't activate abilities that aren't mana abilities or loyalty abilities. So he will not be able to activate Thrawn Temporal Gateway so Thrawn Temporal Gateway won't be able to activate because of the second ability. But he will still be able to tap for mana with his Soul Ring and Thrawn Dynamo and Dalakos, but will not be able to activate Dream Shaper Shaman or the other ones. And they are all now 1/1s. I believe I've played my 2 spells and done all that I can do, so I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. I will draw. I will play an island. I forgot to untap. And I can't do anything, but beginning of my end step, I will trigger Dream Shaper Shaman and I will sacrifice Thrawn Temple Gateway because it is no longer of any use to me. And I will reveal the top cards of my library until I reveal a non-land permanent card and put it onto the battlefield.
Let's go. Exile the rest. Yep, go ahead.
Island. I find the Rack, which is not the card I wanted right now. It will enter the battlefield, and my island gets exiled.
Yep. And what does the rack do?
The Rack is a 1-mana artifact that says at the end of target opponent's upkeep, the Rack deals that player 1 damage for each card in his hand that is fewer than 3. How many cards do you have?
I have 3 cards.
Okay. And then I will pass the turn.
Okay. I will untap.
On your upkeep, because you have 3 cards in your hand, I will deal 3 damage to you.
Wait, what does it say?
It says at the end of target opponent's upkeep,
Yeah.
the Rack deals, or at the beginning of target opponent's upkeep, the Rack deals that player 1 damage for each card in his or her hand, fewer than 3.
Yeah, I have 3.
Oh,
Fewer than 3. Okay, so
my mistake, sorry.
I will untap everything, and I will draw, having Elspeth Conquers Death use its final ability, which says return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield to put a 1/1 counter or another loyalty counter on it, which I cannot do because I have no creatures in my graveyard, so it will just go away. And I drew, because it's after I draw. I will, for my first spell, because of Fires of Invention, I will play Pestilence. So, Pestilence is an enchantment for free because of Fires of Invention, saying, at the end of turn, if there are no creatures in play, bury Pestilence. And I can tap the swamp, activate as ability says, Pestilence deals 1 damage to all creatures and players. So, his creatures are all 1/1s, except Dreamshaper Shaman because it's still getting Scythe of the Wretched ability attached to it. But I will tap 1 swamp. Oh, first, I will actually have Sunbird's Invocation trigger for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I will get a Peace of Mind. I can discard a card, gain 3 life for 1 planes. And there's a 2-mana enchantment. And then that will be my second spell. So then Pestilence, I will tap a swamp, deal 1 damage to all creatures and all players. So I will lose a life, you will lose a life, and then those 3 creatures will all die.
Okay. I will send Jhoira back to my command zone, and it is now 8 to cast.
Yep. And then my second spell will come from Sunbird's Invocation, which is Peace of Mind. Then I will tap red, white, and a black to tap Ghen and sacrifice Pestilence because it will do me no good because it has to get buried. Well, it will, but I don't really need it anymore. Sacrifice it to return Elspeth Conquers Death to the battlefield. And when I do, I will exile Dreamshaper Shaman.
That will solve Dreamshaper Shaman.
I will get another 1/1 counter. Well, it will enter with 1 lower counter. Then I will swing for 4 with Gravebreaker Lamia.
I have no blocks, so I will go down to 35.
And I will gain 4 life because of lifelink. Those are my 2 spells, and I will pass the turn.
Okay, untap. I will draw. I will play a mountain, and I will tap 5, 6, 7, 8 to recast my commander.
And I don't believe you'll be able to equip your Scythe of the Wretched because of Overwhelming Splendor.
That is correct. It also enters the battlefield tapped, and you will gain a life.
Yep.
And then I will tap 3 to cast Phoenix of Ash.
Enters tapped.
It enters tapped, and you gain a life. For 2 red and 1 of any, it's a 2/2 Phoenix with flying and haste, and you can tap 3 mana, 2 of any, 1 red. Phoenix of Ash gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and you can escape it, tapping 2 of any and 2 red to exile 3 other cards from your graveyard, and return it, and then you can cast it from your graveyard, and it escapes with the +1/+1 counter. And that will be my turn.
I will untap and draw.
How many cards do you have in hand?
I have 4.
Okay.
Elspeth Conqueror's deck will trigger up to 2. Non-creature spells you cast will cost 2 more until my next turn. I will, for my first spell, play Sigil of the Empty Throne, saying that whenever I cast an enchantment spell, I may put a 4/4 white angel with flying onto the battlefield. That will trigger Sunbird's Invocation for the top 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will get a Heliod, God of the Sun. Legendary enchantment creature, God, 5/6 indestructible, as long as my devotion to white is less than 5, which it is not. He is in a creature. And all my creatures now have vigilance, and I can tap 4 and put a 2/1 white enchantment creature token onto the battlefield. Yes, he is a creature. Yep. Then that's gonna be counted as my second spell because of Sunbird's Invocation, and since he's enchantment, I will get a 4/4 white angel because of Sigil of the Empty Throne. Then I will tap a white, red, and a black to activate Ghen, sacrificing Peace of Mind and returning Pestilence. I will then activate Pestilence.
Phoenix of Ash and Jhoira will die, and I will take 1.
Yep, and I will also take 1. And are you putting Jhoira in the command zone?
Jhoira will return to the command zone,
For
and
10
now
mana.
she has 10 mana to cast.
I will then swing with Gravebreaker Lamia for 4 damage. I will
go
gain
down
4.
to 30.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. Sorry. And I will draw. And then I will cast Evolving Wilds. And I will tap a mountain to cast Lightning Bolt and target your commander.
Okay, I have no response. It is actually 3 mana, I believe, because of Elspeth Conqueror's death.
That's correct, so I'll tap Soaring.
Ghen will die and will cost 5 to be cast.
And I have no cards in hand and no creatures to attack with, so it's your turn.
I will untap and draw. And this will take up to 3. And I have no creatures to return, so I will not get anything. Creatures are planeswalkers, actually. As my first, let's think about this. I will play a Swiftfoot Boots as my first spell, activating Sunbird's Invocation. I will deal with top 2 and cast a Thrill of Possibility. And I will get to, if I discard a card, I can draw 2 cards. I'll discard a Plains and draw 2 cards. Those are my 2 spells. So I will. Oh, this is my 4/4 angel. So I will swing with Heliod, Gravebreaker, Lamia, and my 4/4 angel for 8.
Why do they have vigilance?
Because of Heliod. Heliod gives all my creatures vigilance.
Oh.
So I will swing for 13 damage, and I will gain 4 life.
Okay, I will go to 17. And then...
Yep, I will pass the turn.
Okay, I will untap. On your end step, I will sacrifice Evolving Wilds. And the card I put onto the battlefield is a mountain. That enters tapped. And then I will go to my draw phase. I will draw. And I will play an island. And then I have no other things to do, so I will pass the turn.
I will draw. For my first spell, I will cast a Sun Titan, and I will get a Sunbird's Invocation trigger for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I will cast a Dismissive Pyromancer. It's a 2/2. I can tap a red, discard a card, draw a card. And when the Sun Titan enters the battlefield, I can enters the battlefield or attacks, I can return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So those are my 2 spells, and since he enters, I will get to return a Treacherous Blessing to the battlefield, which will allow me to draw 3 cards when it enters. 1, 2, 3. Then I have an enchantment enter, so Sigil of the Empty Throne will trigger, and get another 4/4 angel because of Sigil of the Empty Throne. Before combat, I will tap 1 colorless mana to equip Swiftfoot Boots to my Sun Titan, giving him hexproof and haste. Then I will swing in for 19 damage. Any responses?
Nope. I will go down to -2.
Good game.
Good game.
Alright. Thank you for watching this episode of Magic 1v1. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll be seeing you soon next time. Bye!
I love everything. Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.